So you guys remember watching American Pie? Seeing all those geeky kids with no social skills trying to make a bunch of music jokes thinking they were funny? Yeah, it's way worse than that. So, as you can tell from uh, my luscious lips on my profile picture there, that I obviously was a trumpet player. I'm really good at blowing things, especially the trombone. So I was a band kid from grade 7 all the way to grade 11, I think. Um, but I was one of those kids who picked up the instrument, learned how to play it in the class, but never actually practiced. I'd probably be much better if I probably would have been way better if I actually took the instrument home and practiced with it, but I didn't. Trumpet player, and in grade 7 or grade 8, we had a thing where you could learn to play music in class, but if you wanted to, you could switch instruments for a couple weeks and try to learn how to play that. Um, Within about 2 weeks, I was the best trombone player in my grade because everyone else in our class was terrible. So, anyways, um, in school, we had a great teacher, Mr. Rothwell. Um, he was probably one of the more fun teachers. But yeah, we had a junior band, we had a swing band, and we had a senior band. I was in all three of them. Um, Girls did not find the trumpet players handsome, or at least not me. Um, yeah. So, anyways, in junior band, we basically learned a couple little uh, a couple little songs to play, and then we would go travel around to different elementary schools and play music there. Um, we had, let's see, two concerts a year. Now, what I really want to talk about is how weird some of the band kids were. We had one guy named Mike, but he was one of those guys. He was weirdly into Japanese stuff, like a concerning amount, like not the kind of stuff where he would just watch anime, but like he was in high school until he was 22, and he was still macking on the trying to hit on Japanese exchange students. It was just really weird, and he didn't bathe. So like most schools have like I don't know, like you would have the Dungeons and Dragons nerds, but in our school you had the band kids. The band kids, there was a good crossover with the Lord of the Rings club, and that's when you really got down and dirty with the nerds. Um, so when we were in school, in our junior high, you could do one of two things. You could walk around outside at school, or you could go into the music room, play music, or you could sit in the hallways and play on your Game Boy Advance. Um, Music class was definitely the funnest, but it was the least coolest. And yes, it was actually less cool than playing Game Boys in the hallways. I would be in there every day, just dicking around, playing music. Like we would try to play the cool stuff, like we'd find sheet music for like the James Bond themes, things like that. Now, the one thing that I was kind of infamous for, I was in a club called the Memorial Club. Might talk about that in another one, but basically, I had to. I played at a lot of memorial services, so we would go and play like "O Canada" and things like that, "God Save the Queen" and all that. But I was the special kid because I was the only trumpet player that could hit the high notes in the band, but I was also the most nervous, so I had a hard time doing it. So if you don't know what Last Post is, it's a song that the trumpeter would play when you're lowering the flag at a memorial service. Here, I might even be able to see if I can find a little clip of it. So anyway, that little song is what you would play at a memorial service, and as you can tell, those notes are pretty high, and when you're nervous, it can be pretty bad. There was one service that I had to play for. It was in front of the whole school, and it was televised. COVID. Oh, jeez. Anyways, um, I had to play that in front of the whole school. It was televised on our local cable network, which I did not know about until it got played back, and it was horrendous. And you also had all these veterans coming to the school. So not only was did I sound horrible, I it's probably the worst thing these soldiers have seen since D-Day. Um, Terrible, terrible. But anyways, enough about Memorial Club. I'll go on about that another time. But yeah, funny enough, the first time I ever actually was in the same room with my wife was at we were in music class together in high school, but we didn't actually know each other because there was a really loud, annoying girl sitting in between us. Um, she kind of blocked my seduction techniques, which did not come to fruition until about 5 years later. But that's how it that's how it wound up there. There was a we had to go play at a few services, and we had two different drummers. We had Jenny, who was a great drummer. Well, we also had Ashley. She was a good drummer, but the thing is with her, she kept getting high and falling asleep on the drum set. So it was a little hard to do anything with her. We had a really good bass player. His name was Jimbo. I haven't talked to him for a while. Last time I saw him, he was probably raiding the Capitol building on January 6th. Love you, Jimbo. I hope you listen someday. Not making fun of you, but you're great. Um, and we had Will, the clarinet player, the one cool clarinet player in the entire world. You had me on the trumpet. You had Courtney. She was great. You had Mike, the super weeaboo trumpet player. Um, he was he was really weird. You can always tell when he was coming because I don't think he washed his butthole on the regular. He very very stinky guy. We had Evan. He's a preacher now. He's a good buddy of mine. He was a tuba player. He was I think the one good tuba player in our school. Um, I wasn't even the best trumpet player in the school. I was probably like the mid range trumpet player. Yeah, and like I said, playing the trumpet did not get you the ladies. Um, they got you the attention of the widows of the people you played last post for, and that was about it. We did a couple, like a lot of the times, the the band, like we had a marching band too that I was in, and the only thing we did for that was we would march around in the Christmas parade. Now, playing trumpet in a marching band is hard because with a trumpet you got to keep the piece firm up to your lips. Um, so like think like a Catholic choir boy. You got to keep it tight to your lips, or else you're gonna not sound good. You had to march, and it's freezing cold out, so you have like this metal piece on your face, and you're trying to do that while you're marching. So two of my least favorite things: something pressed on my lips and exercise. So, and if you walk and if you're out of step, sometimes you'll bump into the person ahead of you. So like there's 2 feet ahead of you, and like there's one guy in front of you. You walk 2 feet accidentally, you bump into him, and then you end up chipping your teeth on the on the brass instrument, the mouthpiece that you get in your mouth. So awful all around. Do not recommend marching in a parade. Um, so band didn't actually become fun until I was an adult. Because in junior high, all the music you played was way too easy. You played in high school, you could only ever play stuff for like Christmas concerts or for graduation ceremonies, stuff like that. So it wasn't really fun. Didn't really become fun until I was an adult. Till I was an adult, and me and my wife would actually go play Christmas concerts in the Moonlight Swing Band. Now my wife, she's a music major, so she's like major geek when it comes to music. She went to school to play piano, and she can also play the saxophone, the flute, the cello, and all that. All that talent, but makes no money. Sorry, honey. If you're listening, maybe we ought to convince you to start streaming your musical talents on Twitch with a low cut shirt. That way you'll get some simps that would actually give me some money because Daddy wants a new TV, and I am going to exploit your talent 100%. Sorry. Yeah. Once we became adults and started playing in the swing band, and you would play at weddings where people would just get drunk and dance around while you're playing Rock Around the Clock or 25 or 64 by Chicago, that's when it became really fun. So, uh, band camp as a teenager, it's all about the awkward, smelly kids and having to awkwardly go on class trips with two of the wild ones giving out handies in the back seat of the school bus, um, and the kids in the front trying to be trying to study and all that super geeky stuff. Yeah, you would have it'd be really weird. We would go on these combined um, school trips, like field trips. Like I went on one music trip where we would like it'd be like bands from all over the province, and we went on one trip where there's this one fat kid. Yeah, I know I'm just calling him a fat kid, whatever. He went up to me and he said, "You know, this is a really fancy trumpet. It's like the highest. If it was one step above this, it would be a $10,000 trumpet." And like, well, it's not a $10,000 trumpet. You spent $300 for it at Long and McQuaid, so don't get too crazy. And yes, the old saying of no matter how good you are at something, there's always one Asian kid better than you. That goes like tenfold when it comes to music. Um, I would I'd be all excited that I nailed this one solo, and the old the Asian kid who was there for like 6 months, he would just come in and destroy you. I'm like, well, that's what happens when you're forced to practice like 8 hours a day at home. So yeah, I should have practiced trumpet. I might even actually take it up again, because I really do like playing it, and I really want to get my kids into it, and hopefully maybe they will become successful at it, and hopefully they'll become smarter than me, and they won't become a 35-year-old home care worker who does podcasts for fun. See ya.